This man lived a life of ups and downs, and today I will tell you his life story. Frederick Charles Hodson was born in 1887 in Lewisham, London, to Erasmus Hodson and Isabella Trump. The family lived in Drysdale Road, where his father worked as a house painter. Sadly, his father passed away in 1893 when Frederick was only 6 years old. His mother would have struggled in the days before welfare, and in August 1901 he was admitted to Lewisham Union Workhouse. He was then sent to the Field Lane Industrial School after he was charged with stealing 1 shilling 2 pence from an automatic gas meter, the property of South Metropolitan Gas Company, and this is where he would spend the next 3 years of his life. School for poor children in the East End. In 1904 he was in trouble again, this time for stealing £1, the property of his employer Herbert Collingwood. He was sentenced to 14 days in prison. Just 5 months later he was in trouble again, this time for stealing 10 shillings, belonging to Edith Phillips. He had lied and said he was collecting the money on behalf of his employer. He was sentenced to return to the industrial school. At the time he was out on licence. He was again in trouble just months later, with stealing £1, the property of his employer Edward Humphrey Seekings. He was sentenced to 14 days in prison. Incredibly, he was in trouble again in January 1905, this time with stealing a sovereign belonging to his employer, E.H. Seekings. He was bound over for £5. Life would get worse for Frederick, as his mother passed away in 1906. He was just 18 and had lost both parents and been in and out of the workhouse and prison most of his life. In 1906 he was again admitted to the workhouse, and on the 14th of June he departed for Canada. His arrival notes say the passage was paid for by the Salvation Army, but Frederick was debarred from entering alongside Thomas Joseph Pearce. Maybe this was to do with his criminal past. He then spent time in Greenwich Union Workhouse, with his note saying he was destitute and sick, and for a while he was in Banstead Asylum. In 1912 he was enlisted as an able seaman, and on the 23rd of January 1915 he married Elizabeth Louisa Baldock, and they had a son Frederick in 1915. He enlisted in the army during the war, but he was discharged after having a dislocated patella. A daughter Florence was born in 1917. In 1917 he rejoined the army, where he was in the Royal Army Medical Corps. He had a son James in 1919 and a daughter Doris in 1920, a son Thomas in 1921, Mary in 1923, Irene in 1925 and Leonard in 1928. By this time the family had moved to Shardlow in Derbyshire, and by 1939 they lived in Long Eaton, Derbyshire. Frederick passed away on the 8th of February 1950, aged 62. His wife would go on to live another 31 years, passing away in 1981, aged 84. So rest in peace, you will be remembered.